The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Okay, let's do this. Okay, and guess what, Raj? I set it up and it changed the stop recording to start recording, and it set it up and it started recording. I don't know what's going on there. So, yeah, I don't know why it's recording, but it's recording.
The opposite would be worse.
Well, yeah, well, like I say, I know I turned it off. I turned it off last week to make sure. I double checked. And then I don't know if you go back and do any editing, it's back on or whatever. The only editing I did, I put a handout there for one thing that I was going to do, and all of a sudden we're recording. So we are recording, so we have to be very careful about what we say.
Right.
I can cut it. So how's everything?
Good.
Good. Everything's, like I said, I don't know if you've been following the temperature down here. You may, oh my God. We had to stay inside today.
Wow.
It was just too warm. Too warm.
I won't be doing that.
Yeah, I know, but oh my God. I'm hoping, we're hoping for. Yeah, they're having record temperatures down here, so it's.
Well, they're not so severe in Orlando.
No, well, it was like 95, I believe.
Not in Orlando.
Yeah, I didn't really check the Orlando area, yeah, but still. No, it's, don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining, but.
It sounds like you are.
Yeah, the humidity was about 200%. That was the problem. It's not the temperature. The humidity was very high. Yeah. No, seriously, like I say, you go out and work for about 15 minutes, and that was about it. So anyhow, that's fun. No problem. We're here. We chose this. But other than that, don't really have anything going bad. Everything's going pretty well. I saw that you were, once we get going here.
Well, we're going.
Well, I meant maybe, I don't know if I didn't even, you know what, I saw the list, but I didn't really look at the names.
I only saw 14 names.
Yeah, it was a small one this week.
Pete Carlo, if he's on, I'd like him to
yeah.
chime in.
Well, he's not here yet. I just see
No.
Kristen, and Kristen, thank you. We're just kind of getting set up here, so we start a little early, and Dave should join. I don't know if Dave, I don't even know if he registered or if he has something going. So I don't know. I forgot to look at the names. I just sent out the texts, for those people who wanted reminders. And that's about it. Other than that, things are going quietly and smoothly.
Had a couple questions that
yes,
wanted to address once we do get started.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah. Now, would you address those in the pre-portion or the main portion?
Oh, since they were asked, they were asked within the webinar, so I'd rather.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. And then, well, that's what I thought so, but I just wanted to make sure. Yeah. I'm looking at our little graphic there, and what drives me nuts is the word temps right by the computer with TE, and the little white in between the letters that I cannot get out.
I'm not sure where you're looking.
All right. If you look at the screen and then you see the hands typing on the computer, and then to the top right of that, it says temps, TEMPS, small print.
I'm not seeing that at all. All I'm seeing is a Sunday night webinar, the waiting to view screen.
Oh, duh. Maybe I didn't. How's that now? Duh.
Yeah.
Oh, God. This getting old stuff is something else. Yeah, you got to push both buttons. The webinar is starting and then show screen both. Okay. Now I'm talking about that temps, that little temps thing there, with the white in between the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I have, and I don't think I could have the ability to go in and fill it in by hand. I'll be honest with you.
Well, I would be highly surprised had anyone but yourself noticed that.
Well,
Really,
yeah.
your eye doesn't go to it at all.
Yeah, my wife tells me about my certain type of personality.
OCD? Is that something?
Well, her word begins with A.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah, hi, Joe. Mr. Joe Soretto has joined us. Joseph Soretto, glad to see you. Yeah, but like I say, what's so nice now is you can take most pictures into either PowerPoint or Word and click on the image editor and remove the background and I've done that quite a bit, but it doesn't remove that. It's really weird. I wonder. Let's see. And show. If we go here, see there. Now, where is that picture? It's down below. See, yeah, it's in the background. Okay, there it is, right? If you click on that, then you go up to Format Tools, right? Over here it says Color on the left-hand side. Set Transparent Color. I go here and click that, and it doesn't remove it. It did the rest of the picture, or the rest of the slide, but it doesn't remove that for some reason. And I don't know if it's that I am, you know what? I bet I know what.
You did it separately, right?
Yeah, I wonder.
If you ungroup it, is it grouped?
No, it's grouped, but what I did was I probably,
I say if you ungroup it.
I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can ungroup it in. That's Notebook. I'm not sure. What I did was I probably used another. I used another program to do that, to add that.
Well, let the people listening.
Yeah.
Gene's going into extreme detail
on editing
the
on
graphic that.
Yeah. Well, here's
part of our opening slide, as obviously within the PowerPoint program here.
Mm-hmm.
And that the brick wall and the sign is basically a template, and then everything is custom to it.
So, like if we put in, well, let's see here. See, like here, I think here, if we have that heart, and of course that white around it, that's I think what just to show them what I was trying to do, is if you click on this, click on Format, I hope it works, click on here, set transparency, and that will remove most of the, not perfectly, but it removes most of the white and sets that to transparent. Maybe we should leave it there, Raj. Doesn't that look nice? No.
Sure. Okay, no.
Okay. Here, we'll put it down here with it. No. Okay.
We will be editing all of this out, of course.
Yes. Cut that. But anyhow, I would
actually, the record. You're going to get the file, are you?
And I have a splicer and a slicer that I can cut this first half hour off. And
Well, I put up in fact, that's one of the things we could talk a little bit about.
Now?
The early bird is the website with the recorded webinars on them.
Okay.
All I did, I put up last week's.
Oh, you did? Yes, I was going to say.
And all I did was set the start at the precise time that we actually start the webinar, right at 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see what you're
saying. And not go in
and cut it off.
Delete any of it, right?
Yeah. Oh, and Peter's joined us, Raj.
Hi, Pete.
Did you want to do that, Raj?
Do
You want to show that? Or you
oh, we
said,
can. Yeah, why not?
okay. We got change presenter. I didn't know that he needed changed. There you are. How are you? There, yeah. See, now that temps looks nice because you have it on a white background.
But I did want to do something with the skin of the hands, and I
Yeah.
was messing with that at one point.
Yeah.
But I didn't. But anyway, just for the further conversation here, we're talking about. Well, we talked about a lot of things just now about the recordings
Mm-hmm.
of our of all the webinars to date this school year. So we go to the Teacher Resource Center webpage, and then in the navigation on the left, there's a whole bunch of stuff here. The webinar dates so far, the registration page, which you update,
Mm-hmm.
and then the recordings page. And then down here is last month, and now we have October's from last week there. And with that, just a quick summary of what we discussed during. I don't know that it's strictly chronological, but it's we did talk about those things. And what I did, I added we had 3 or 4 handouts last week.
Okay, good idea. Yeah.
On the page, we did talk about
cool idea.
adding folders
Mm-hmm.
to your Chrome browser, the bookmarks bar, and then when we went into that little bit of the PowerPoint add-in, it's called Pro. That says World Cloud. I got to change that. I got to edit that. It should be Word Cloud.
Oh, I see. Yeah. By the way, Peter.
And I will
hello.
edit that. And
Somebody-
hi, Pete.
Yeah, he
Pete,
said hello.
Greetings. And you know what? That bothers me, Gene. I'm gonna
He has his
take the
hand
screen
raised.
back. I'm gonna go edit that right now.
Okay. I see. Yeah, and you talk about me. Okay. Okay. Pete, we offer. Yeah, and is muted or you're self-muted. I kind of hit your thing to unmute you. If you have a microphone on your computer, you can click that little microphone icon, and maybe we can. Oh, there you are. Oh, I think you were there, and then I muted you. Try it again. There you go. Good evening. Can you hear us?
I hear you. Can you hear me?
No, I can hear you very well. How are you tonight?
Yes.
Raj is,
I'm good.
we are talking about very weird things tonight, so, okay. Strange things.
Strange thing.
Glad to have you. Yeah, no, we were talking about how to make images transparent, the background transparent, like on this screen that you're looking at now. If it were like a white square and we have this background is sort of grayish, so we didn't want to just have a white square there. How to make a transparent background. And we had gotten to the point where I've worked for a long time on the word temps there. If you see that, there's white there. And I can't get it out.
It's like I could see it. It's like faintly like in the M. And I can see it a little bit.
Yeah. Well,
you probably have to like do it in Photoshop or Paint.
That's where I originally created it. Okay, I use PaintShop Pro, and I created it there. I took the picture in and added the temps, and for some reason, I think it's kind of like a 2-layer thing. Maybe the temps is in the background or something like that. And when you try to do a transparent background, it won't do that portion of it.
Well, if it makes you feel better, it doesn't look bad at all. So.
Oh, thank you. Because, like I said.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna. cancel my therapy session.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Can you guys hear me all right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You're coming through very clear.
I have my AirPods on, so I don't know if you could hear me well.
No, it's coming through.
Yeah, that's fine. In fact, we learned last week from Dave Glahe that he just simply uses the earpods, not the AirPods, but the earpods from his
pad
iPhone, and with the built-in microphone, that little thing on the cords.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no idea that he was we don't have any issues with this.
Hey, Raj, don't say anything bad about Dave.
Is he here to defend himself or no?
Yeah, he's just joining us now.
There's his microphone.
Yeah.
But in fact, Pete and I,
Good evening, Dave. You're ready if you want.
We communicated.
Hello, how's everyone doing?
Good evening.
Hey, Dave.
I'm a slightly later bird, not an early bird today.
Yeah, the worm is gone. Okay.
But we have Pete joining us on a bit of our early conversation here, and I've been in touch with Pete a little over a week ago about having him give some of his classroom experience similar to what Dave has been doing for us right along. And Pete, correct me if I'm wrong, but you're a 6th grade teacher.
Yes.
At Abbott, and that means that now, what are your subject areas? Are you ELA as well, or are you?
I am. I teach everything. So
okay.
It's not.
So you're using Amplify.
I'm using Amplify. I'm using Go Math.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, and I really haven't even had a chance to even get going with Office 365 this year because of so many other things going on with these 2 new programs that we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be it's going to be an issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm. And our computers have been really bad so far this year. So.
In what way?
Hardware wise.
Hardware or connectivity?
I probably a little bit of both. Getting the NWEAs off and running was painful. And then once we finally got those done, obviously Amplify is 100% online.
Yes.
You can do it unplugged, but it's like once you do it unplugged, it's almost like you got to continue doing it unplugged because it's, writing assignments transfer from one lesson to the next, and you have to edit them and everything. Oh. And there was a one or 2 week period that like we didn't have the updated Chrome browser, so nothing was working.
Oh.
So now, knock on wood, they're all working right now. All 28, because I have 28 students in my class as well, and all 28 are working. So we've gone a couple weeks with them all working, but it's been it's tough.
Yeah.
And those lessons, obviously, it's a new program, so I really haven't had a chance to fit Office 365 into the mix yet, but it's coming.
Well, I guess my question's going to be then is Office 365 a vital ingredient then in the mix? Where would it fit? Or I don't think its intent is to be another ingredient. It needs, is it seamlessly integrated into what it is you're doing?
I would say that I would probably use the Office 365 more so with science and social studies than I would with math and ELA. I mean, I could, I know that, and I'd like to learn a little bit more about it. I know Angela Manella, she got me set up with Microsoft Teams.
Mm-hmm.
And I would imagine that there's a way that I could share notes with the students that way.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
I haven't really had a chance to dive in, but so that would be one way. Trying to use OneNote as like a notebook rather than using the smartboard, the smart notebook. I've done that as well, but I haven't really kind of fine-tuned how to, share it with everybody and have, so I really haven't had a chance to use those as much. I love Sway and I love PowerPoint.
Good.
The last 2 years I've done this really neat project in Sway that I know, I think it was Mike Amici from Erie County or BOCES.
Mhm.
He
Right.
wanted to. I think he even wanted me to do like a professional development on how to do that part. It was a really cool interactive kind of collaborative project. And I had Dave's daughter Elise in my class, and she was one of the students that that worked on that as well. So it was pretty neat.
Cool.
Yeah, she's still. I mean, she remembers using Sway and Office 365 in your class. So it's a positive thing.
Yeah, it is.
I think what we're we're really overwhelmed, or it's not we.
Yeah,
you
we've gone from
are
not
overwhelmed
using
with
it.
demands on this. So.
Yeah. I think
And not using it to every single
yeah,
thing,
exactly.
every single aspect of
Yeah,
it
Right.
to over
online.
to overdoing it. Yeah, to overwhelming it, and it's it's important to use, but like you say, I think we want to incorporate it gradually so that it's used properly and to the best advantage.
Yeah, I really like right now. I haven't gotten into it yet because I just don't want to overwhelm the kids with another
That's
thing
it.
to learn how to use right now.
That's exactly right. Yeah, yeah.
So have they even accessed their Office 365?
They haven't. I could probably guarantee that they didn't do it last year, but I know that we're going to be doing it this year. And I know the enrichment, because I'm grade 6 enrichment. I know the enrichment team. We're going to work to do collaborative projects. I know with Donna Nadrowski and myself, we're going to do something as a class. Maybe have 2 of my students pair with 2 of her students and kind of work from opposite, from different rooms on the same project, using Sway or PowerPoint. I thought Sway was great because you can both work on the same thing at the same time on different portions of it, and it's really neat in that it'll update. I mean, you could look at a part that somebody's working on, and you'll see it on your computer, just kind of populating that whole slide. It was pretty neat. And then they can help each other as well. They can have their own part of the assignment and kind of proofread the other students and make sure that they're doing they're doing what they're supposed to. I'd say kind of keep an eye on everybody, making sure they're pulling their part in the project.
And comment live as well as the teacher.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I set it up is I was one of the authors of that document.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I don't know if you want me to tell you now or if you wanted me to say something while we were on, but I set it up. I had teams. The project I did with them was about world religions. There's 6 major religions that we learn about in 6th grade. And I came up with a template and a rubric and everything on my own for this project. And then all of the students, I created the groups and I assigned each student one religion in that group. So there were 4 completed, projects that had, basically 4 people did one of the religions, say if it was Christianity. So someone on group 1, someone in group 2, group 3, and group 4, they did it. And they all had their own part, that they had to complete. And,
I think it's the Pope.
Doesn't he know it's almost 8 o'clock?
Yeah. The Pope is calling to well,
That was me, yeah.
Okay.
So you did this. You said you set up teams. You're not referring to office teams, are you? You're talking.
No, it wasn't teams. It was
groups, student
it
groups.
was a group. I created 4 different documents in Sway. They were all identical, but I titled one Group 1. I titled another one Group 2, and another one Group 3, and another one Group 4, and depending on the size of the class. And then Group 1, I had selected the 6 members of that team, and I added them as authors to that particular document.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm
so they and myself could do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering out loud here, with Dave listening, perhaps showing some light on this. Within teams,
Mm-hmm.
you could have set this up with a channel
Yeah.
for each one of your groups,
Right. I mean,
function
I
within
think
that.
if I was doing it, I would envision teams being like, especially if Pete is talking about, like, I think it's a great idea to be able to group kids across grade levels laterally. Like, that sounds like an interesting idea. Donna Nagrowski's fifth grade, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, but I would see the value of teams, not just for them to be the work that they'd be doing in Sway would be in Sway, but the teams would be a great way for them to have a conversation about what they were working on, especially if they weren't in the same room, because it operates much like a texting chat. So you could be chatting with someone about, okay, so how are we going to divide up this task? Do you want to write the introduction? Okay, and I'll start working on whatever other aspect. You could have a conversation through Teams with your group, and then you could carry out what you discussed on the actual template in Sway, right?
Yeah, the only thing I would want to check going forward would be to ask if you're creating, like you say, a lateral team between a fifth and a sixth grade, would those
That might be
kids
difficult because that's
be
all
accessible?
Yeah, isn't that tied into Power School as well? The teams.
Right, that kind of
I think.
thing. But,
I don't know if it's changed from last year, but last year, I can still see my students from last year. So I know that I can populate students that are not from my own class, that are not any longer attached to me in Power School. I think what they're doing with Power School is populating a class list that is specific to this year, but that does not preclude you from also including students that are not on your list in Power School. And actually, I think that's the reason why I can add Roger to my class as well.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
obviously he's not
I
linked
don't know
to
if
Power
that was
School.
available. I don't know if that was available when I originally did it. I mean, because
Right.
literally, I think two weeks ago, somebody created that or invited me into the teams, and I haven't had a chance to look at it. I think with the Sway, when I originally set it up, that was probably the easiest way to do it. I bet there's an easier way now. I can't imagine there not being an easier way now.
It keeps changing.
Oh yeah, it keeps changing. So I can imagine. I'd like to.
This is definitely worth
we can learn a little
pursuing.
bit one time.
I think the idea of that, again, collaborating between classrooms and certainly between grade levels, like David, you could have a group of your former students, now third graders.
Yes. Yeah, they could be working with editing and discussions about things that they're more expert in now with younger students, and I think they benefit from that as well.
Right.
I mean, you could even work with another sixth grade class in another building too.
That's true. Yes, absolutely. Yep, you could have students from Abbott working with students from Hyde Park easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of interesting possibilities for sure with that.
Certainly. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah,
I think we're going to come back to that, Pete, because I wanted to have you talk a little bit about what you learned about the new Power School that they're going to be implementing.
The Power Teacher Pro.
Yes, the Power Teacher Pro, right? And
that hasn't been implemented district wide yet, I guess.
No, it's coming. I think they're talking about second quarter or the second trimester or
second century.
Yeah, different for different grade levels. I guess.
Yeah, it's not going to be all at once. Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'd be glad to talk about that, answer any questions or anything about that.
Well, Raj, what we might want to do is if Pete would be willing, maybe have a webinar and let him show.
Well, I'm thinking even further ahead when we get to, because we've been asked to support this when it gets rolled out, is maybe have somebody like Peter's other grade level teachers who did pilot it and are certainly more familiar with it than a lot of people, is maybe do something on screen and record that as a way for people to kind of see it and hear it before they jump in as part of the support and the training process as well.
Yeah. Well,
I would say that's a good idea because I kind of jumped right in And then I think when I jumped in, I thought that I can go back to the old, grade book.
You can't.
And no, oh no, once you go, you can't even go back. It's like a read only, and you can't do anything. And
Yeah, Hotel California. You can never leave.
yeah, so I couldn't do anything. Yeah, once you come back, you can never leave.
Yeah. Well, we're all going to be required to check in soon enough, I suppose.
Yeah,
I think
there
so.
we go.
It's coming.
And they
Gene, you want to do the intro? We've
Okay, hey
reached
guys,
our
thank
8
you for
o'clock.
joining us.
Yep, I'm going to mute myself. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Pete.
Thanks. And again, good evening, everybody. This is the Sunday night webinar. This is the 14th of October already. And this is Web 105, as I believe it is. I can't see it because of something's covering it. But I'm Gene Colbago.
I'm Roger Carroll.
And we're here to entertain you for the next hour, amuse you or whatever. Hopefully give you some ideas. And if you have any other things, please don't hesitate to send us questions. Raj has said that he has some responses to some of the questions that were asked last week and a few other things that came up. And I don't know when you wanted to do that, Raj.
Well, we could do it right now very quickly. I think we each have lots of stuff for tonight.
Yes, we do. And if we don't get to it, there's next week.
For you, perhaps.
Yes, well, that's true, too. Okay,
I'm going
so
on hiatus. But a couple of questions. One had to do with, we were just briefly talking about Sway, but was about Sway in particular, whether or not you could add in an audio file or there is some sound available to it. And the answer to that is yes, you can incorporate some audio into Sway as well.
Yeah, in fact, Raj has mentioned that he may not be with us next week, and that was one of the topics that I was going to discuss next week, and we'll tell you that if you are interested.
I'm going to leave that to you next week, but that was specifically asked about.
Yeah, yes, exactly. That was one of the things that I've already started practicing and learning a little bit more about, and maybe Pete can help me out. But yes, we'll be doing that. So yeah, if you are interested in learning about Sway, what it is, why it's different from PowerPoint, join us. And Raj?
Another question was in the follow-up survey was asked about what's the easy way or the easiest way to access Office 365. And we've pointed it out when I was showing some little quick tips on the Chrome browser. One way is, I think we call them shortcuts and things. We see less of that term anymore, but one is to put a tab in your Chrome browser. And as you know, Chrome will remember and use a password once you've logged into it and ask if you want to save it. I would respond yes to that. That's the way I use it as well. And the other way that we've learned about recently is that if you just simply navigate to Microsoft.com Office /Office, and you're using the Edge browser, then you are automatically logged into Office 365. And for a lot of new users, that seems to be the easiest way to get into it. The thing is, and we are not huge, at least I am not a huge user of the Edge browser at this point. I know every time I open my Chrome, I get a little thing that says, how would you like to do it faster or whatever? And I say, no thanks. I've got too much invested in Chrome at this point, but not to say I couldn't migrate over. But the Edge browser is an automatic sign-in to Office 365 because it is Microsoft, and you're going to Microsoft.com, and that takes care of itself right then and there. So that's an easy way to get in. It's, I think there's some, I don't know, is the word trepidation? People who've never been into Office 365, it's like, ooh, it's another password. It's, kind of some routine they're not used to. And it is really straightforward. It's as simple as signing into your laptop as you do every day onto the network.
Yeah.
It's the exact same sign in to Office 365.
Mhm.
The key is getting to the right website,
Yeah.
I guess.
And also, Raj, I don't mean to interrupt, but I have my home computer, not the school computer. I do not turn it off at night. I usually let it on. And one of the first things that I was asked the first time, some time ago when I logged in, do you want me to keep you logged in? And I say yes. And
Yeah.
quite often when I come back, and as Raj said, you know, the little tab up at the top or whatever, I click on that. I don't have to put in any password or anything. This is still using Chrome, not using Edge. Takes me right there. So you might even be logged in automatically on Chrome. Again, I think if I turned off the computer or rebooted it, I would probably have to go through that process again.
Very likely.
Yeah.
We see that from time to time when we do some trainings and workshops at the district training lab at the Board of Education. That's a new experience. People who come to those rarely ever sit at the same computer they were at the previous workshop, and it has to reestablish a desktop and all that stuff when you sign in. So there's a little extra process there. But again, real easy. Once you've been there, it's a snap.
It does remember you.
Make it go much quicker. And the last question I had, and this is something that's well, more and more people are doing, I think, is how can they access their school district email from your smartphone? And you coming, in fact, pretty soon, IBM Lotus Notes is, we're moving away from that. We're going to be using Outlook, but there is an app. It's called Verse, VERSE. It's an app. If you have an iPhone, look up IBM Verse. That, and when you go in, download that app. It's free. That's what I use to check my district email on my phone. For a long time, I didn't want to have anything to do with it. But now I find I need to check it more frequently than when I have access to a laptop or a desktop. So I use the Verse app on my iPhone, and you just when you download it, you go into the settings and you put in the email address and your Lotus Notes password, and then you'll get and it will sync and do some things, and you can manage emails there as well. However, you need to note that when you get prompted, as we do once or twice a year, and Lotus Notes it's time to change your password, it doesn't automatically change what you've set up on your phone, on your smartphone. So you'd have to go and update it there. I had that issue once. I couldn't figure out, well, I'm not seeing any emails anymore. And then I said, oh, of course, I have to update my password in both places. So it's easy to do. I don't know, I think Gene and I, we have probably a little extra need to be connected to our school emails. We get requests and things. Teachers, you're in your building on your devices every day of the week. It's there. You probably don't want to do it at night or on the weekends or holidays and so on. But yes, you can. It's a simple free app. And as we move away from Lotus Notes to Outlook and so on, information will be put out regarding just how easy that is to do also. So when we get there, and then those are just a couple of questions. Again, if you have questions following tonight's webinar and so on, throw them into the survey. We'll get to you. I've been able to answer some people directly when it was a specific question. These were kind of general that I thought more people would be interested in that, perhaps hadn't thought of it, but we would put it out there as a response as well. So that takes care of, a little bit of.
Well, those are important things, and again.
Well, I thought they were all worth noting and bringing.
If people have these questions, we'll try to get them, and if we don't, email us and let us know, because now and then they do slip by. Sure.
They do indeed.
All set then, Raj?
I'm all set for that portion.
Okay.
of
Well,
the
all right.
discussion.
Now, all right. Let me just see if I can end this show. And let me get. I'm going to have to do a little maneuvering here. I hope I can. I hope it's right. Okay. The first thing, we have been talking about for the last couple of weeks. We have been talking about some Office 365 tools, OneNote especially, in conjunction with a thing that we have been really pushing called personal learning networks. And at the Teacher Resource Center, in case you have not heard this before, we do have a site that introduces it, recommends it, and has many, many places where you can begin. As you know, we need to keep learning. We need to keep adding to our repertoire, our tools, and we have found out. I think, Raj, probably our world, our country, is a country of collectors now. We have such things as Pinterest, Live Binders, we have Flipboard, and Raj is going to talk about a couple more. I think they're a little bit classier ones. I think you're going to talk about OneNote tonight a little bit, are you not?
I'm going to show some things, yes.
Yeah, so, these are a little bit higher class, if you want, for want of a better term, devices for storing, finding, and collecting things. And again, we've been using for years, Raj and I, a thing called Flipboards, and we've had some people interested in those. And if you are interested, please again let us know in the survey, and we can go into introducing how to create those as well. But anyhow, tonight, we've been talking about how to find resources, tools, ideas that can help us in our classroom. And on this page, on the Teacher Resource Center site, is an introduction, and it has several flipboards here that have articles in it that Roger and I have been adding to every now and then, and we will continue to. But tonight, what I thought I'd show you is a way that you can collect, find some really good resources without having to go and collect them or copy them and put them into a folder or OneNote or wherever you wish to save them. And these are some sources that Roger and I use that you can subscribe to. Okay? Now, first of all, you don't have to write down any of these if you happen to run into one or two you like. What you can do, if you look down on your little window there should be a handout line, and I did put a handout there. Okay, and you can download that handout. It's a little Word document, and the Word document, that's all it is. It looks like this. And I've put in about, I think, 10 or 11 sites that you can subscribe to, and they will send you periodic emails with great ideas, great resources, so forth and so on. And what I thought is I'd go through a couple of them tonight. Okay, I'm not going to just click through these. In order to save time, these are, by the way, hyperlinked, and if you download this document, all you need to do is go over there and hold down the control button and then click on it, and it should open the site in your browser, whichever one you are using. But what I did was, to save a little bit of time, I opened them already. Okay, and the first one is probably, this guy is the biggest collector in the world, right, Raj? And please jump in and help me, right? Larry Filazzo collects everything. Okay, He has so much, and he has so many good things. And again, what I do recommend, you can go down here at the bottom, I believe it is. There is a place where you can sign up for his magazines. Look, you can just see some of the things. He's got lists of things. Yes, he does sell a few of things, but up here, I mean, my favorite posts, I think he has, how many of those? Thousands of those, Raj?
Thousands,
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. And here is where, I'm sorry, I apologize. Go to my favorite posts, and here's where you can subscribe to Larry by email, okay? And he will, he's got all kinds of things, and these are all links. Tools I use, funny movie, clips of bad teach. I mean, there's some really great stuff in here. Larry is really great. I don't know when I think he's also a teacher, is he not, Raj?
He's an ESL teacher.
Yeah, and I don't see how he has time to do this because he's always updating his website, collecting things, and he does go to many conferences and things like that. So he's very, very popular. And recommend, take a look at his site and subscribe to it. If you don't like it, you can always unsubscribe. The next one is called EdTech Update. And again, here is sign up for the newsletter. And this one, virtual field trips and ideas. You might find some ideas here. Browse through, take a look, see if there's anything here. How to provide help. Wow. Okay. So you might want to do that. Excuse me one second. Let me kill my phone here. Somebody's texting. But again, you can get down here and sign up for articles that are a little more personalized if you want. But again, fall break on the 10-Minute Teacher podcast. The Cool Cat Teacher is something we've talked about before, and I don't have that this time, but that's a really good place too that I should have mentioned. But again, Google Maps, you can just see as I go through here, I'm not going to click on any and so forth. Immersive storytelling. Okay, all kinds of great ideas. Take a look at a few, you might get an idea. If you are a middle teacher, and what they consider middle teacher is grades 4 through 8. Here is another site that has a lot of great materials, okay? Articles on the left, tips for new history teachers, things like that. You don't have to be new to look at them. And again, there is a place over here where you can sign up for this. Take a look. If you're in grades 4 through 8, you might get some really great ideas from these. 3 questions new teachers always ask. I took a look at that. I thought it was kind of cool. I'm not going to say anything about it. Maybe you should take a look too. Okay? The one place that Raj and I think everybody, teachers, parents, everybody should go to is a place called Common Sense. Common Sense is been, I don't know how many years ago it started, Raj, 5, 6, 8? And it's been growing massively. And it is phenomenal. It has so much more. This has, if you see at the top, it has a site for parents, for educators, for advocates. I just happen to go to the one for educators, and I'm going down, they have ratings and reviews of different sites. They have, things that you can download. There are a few things that are sold, but some of these are some of these are available free. Digital citizenship. Here's games and interactive. If you want to find an ed tech tool, here's some things about professional development. Okay, and they have a video library you might want to take a look at. But again, a great site. If you want, just click on Common. Here is the basic site, and it will show you some, I'm sorry, I didn't get to the basic site. I got to the education one. I thought it was going to take me to the regular one. Well, let's see if we can get rid of this. because see, the comments, this is the main site, and they have all kinds of things. If you are a parent, you might want to use the parent portion. It has reviews of movies, of books, shows, things like that. If you're not sure, games, what's appropriate for your students, your children. And again, I'm sorry, let me just go over here. I'm blasting through here. This one looks like an elementary site. I always am amazed by this, but I like this one for several reasons. It has a lot of great things. It has lesson plans, tips, professional development. I'm going to skip over the graduate records because, again, that's kind of an ad. And it does have a few ads once in a while. And again, there's this to subscribe. But what I recommend that you do, if you have a smart device, a phone, or if you have a pad or whatever, either Apple or Android, go to the store and you can find the Teach Hub app. You can download it, and every month it will send you the new magazine. Here's, in this magazine, let me just click on it, 12 ways to motivate, the 12 top ways to motivate students. All kinds of great ideas here. Okay, here's a math lesson plan for chocolate. Just so much here. Take some time if you have it, and take a look here. Again, I recommend that you subscribe to it. They do not send things every week or every day. You're not going to be overwhelmed by any of these, and they will give you some really good ideas that you might want to use, incorporate in your classroom. This one is fairly heavy duty, okay? The Christensen Institute. If you're interested in this, he was originally, I believe, a Harvard professor, and he came up with the idea of disruptive innovation. And if you need to know what that is, please go there and check it out. But there is a K-12 module right here that you can click on, and it has a number of different articles, a little bit higher level, articles, a little bit deeper, okay? So you might want to take a look at that. And again, you can, I've gone by the page already, you can subscribe to that one very easily. Real quickly, Education World. Now, Education World is a great place with, as you can see, essentials, lesson plans, technology, printable templates. The only thing is here, if you wish to really get the full effect, you have to sign up for emails, and they will then allow you to sign into this and get these articles. At first, they may tell you can't unless you sign in. Okay, I'm signed in right now, so they're going to allow me to do that. Okay, but again, tremendous amount of great stuff. Okay, Silly Pumpkins, fall stories and poems. See, they have things that kind of go with the holidays, the time of the year, so forth and so on. Here's a nice STEM, if you're into STEM, solving a problem. Okay. And again, just going very, very quickly, this is the one we talk about every month, I think, right, Raj? Teachers pay teachers. If for no other reason, log in, and they will start sending you an email. And in the email, let me just log in real quick. In the email, you will get 10 free downloads. It's they say every week, but sometimes it's every 2 weeks. You'll get a little email, and down at the bottom, there'll be a list of different things. And it is of all grade levels, K through 12. So you don't have to say, oh, this is just for a little, for the younger grades or so forth. And also, they do, and I will say this is a place where teachers who have created units, PowerPoints, resources, can put them up here, and they can sell them. And you can buy them if you want. But over on the left, you can do a search for any grade level, any type of subject, and there's the word free. And I believe that on this site, I don't remember it. Oh yeah, 514,000 free items. And some of them are pretty good, and you would have to go through and again, take a look at. But again, I recommend that you do subscribe to this, because then you'll be sent that free 10 free downloads every couple of weeks. Yeah, you won't be able to, you probably won't want all of them, but this one is kind of cool if you want to. By the way, if anybody's into fonts, putting in different funky fonts, this is a pretty good one right here. Okay, now another teacher that I kind of like. Okay, this is mine. This is called Ask a Tech Teacher, and it's Jackie Murray, and she's just redone her website. And there is a place right here. Okay, sign up to get your to get the subscription and the email. But again, she talks about Dyslexia Awareness Month, engagement through competition. Again, a lot of good things that, a lot of good articles, resources. Now, here's, if you have a lot of time, they have she does a lot of K-8 stuff, I will say that. But if you want to look through some web sites, click here and you will get a list of literally hundreds of sites that might have something that you could use. Real quickly, just, Education Week is another one of these sites where there are great articles, as you can see, more serious topics, okay? But first of all, right there where it says sign up for free e-newsletters, subscribe to that and you will be able to get into these articles. If you go to this site without signing up for the free e-newsletters, sometimes they will not show you the whole article. But if you're interested in this, and it is a great site, all kinds of great articles, again, recommend that you do sign up for that and the newsletters, so you can read a lot of these articles right online. Now, the last thing, and it'll only take a couple minutes, Raj, and I'll shut up. The one thing that we all, probably almost all use, and we don't really use it as a tool or a place where we can find a lot of great educational materials for our personal learning, is YouTube. Now, if you have a Google account, a Gmail account, or just a Google account, and you sign into it, you are automatically signed into YouTube. And that is kind of cool because it has its own collection device, okay? On YouTube, we've talked about this before several times. YouTube has areas called channels, and these channels are kind of places where people put up videos dealing with a certain topic. For example, if you look over here on the left, I have some subscriptions here. I think I have about 40 of them that I subscribe to, channels. And just to show you, one, for example, Microsoft, oh boy, Microsoft Education. Oh my goodness. And they have, if you browse through here, you will find things that are really good. Okay. Improve your writing skills, improve your grading assignments with Microsoft. I mean, things down here. I think, Raj, you talked about these at one time, did you not?
I'm going to talk about them again.
Are you really? Okay, Back to School Live. Yeah, those are great. And okay, well, I won't say anything about them. But there's all kinds of things, that you can do here. And there are more and more that you can find. Notice over here, they also show some featured channels. One of them is Microsoft. You can subscribe to it just by clicking on it here. I have not. But you'll notice that Windows, I subscribe to that. You'll notice that I have subscribed to Office 365. And Microsoft Office 365 is another great channel that has, look at this, Microsoft Word. We were just talking about Teams. 9 videos dealing with Teams. Look at this, Microsoft Sway. Okay, if you're interested in learning more about that, they do some great things, teaching you, showing you how you can use these devices. So real quickly and without spending a lot of time, I recommend that all you need to do is, like I went up here, Science Education Channels, and just do a search. And it will bring in channels that you can view or subscribe to. Okay, here, this is a 10 most popular. If you view this video, it will show you different channels that you can go to and then subscribe to. For example, science. You can do this with any subject. Okay, and recommend that you take a look at some of these channels. Vsauce is another highly, highly rated. It has 13 million subscribers. That's another thing you can do if you want to check maybe to see if they're any good or whether you think you might like them. Check the number of subscribers. Okay, and it might help out. Smithsonian, 165 videos. Okay, but again, YouTube channels. Okay, and again, real quickly, I think I put them here, Microsoft, and the channels that you can go to right there, and just click on it, and it'll take you there in case I've gone too quickly. And with that, Raj, I was trying to go quickly to give you some time, and but again, subscribe to some of these things, and you can get some really good stuff. And with that, if there are no questions or anything, I'm going to change the presenter to you, okay?
Okie dokie.
There you go.
Okay, well, we're on the subject of, generally speaking, of a professional learning network. And one of the things we need is a way to handle these resources. Now, Gene has a handout. We've talked about in our web browser using folders. We talked about that last week, how you can create a folder and put your resources in here. This one is pretty much dedicated to Microsoft and education all the way through. In fact, I don't know if you were there this week, Gene. This has gotten a brand new look just this week. It used to be a very busy interface, Microsoft Innovative Educator website. It used to have a whole lot of things going on navigation-wise, and they just upgraded. I don't know if it's an upgrade so much, but they changed it this week for whatever. And these are all resources pretty much related to the whole onslaught of education support and products that Microsoft is now putting out. And that's kind of neat there as well. But we need a place to consolidate and put references. Now, Gene has a handout, and on that handout are a whole, a page and a half of linkable websites we put those out there. We collect those websites, as Gene mentioned, using Flipboard, which is a way to aggregate and curate, two nice education words, aggregate and curate what you want to collect and use as personal references and resources in what you do in your teaching. The one that we're putting forth in the district is espousing pretty much is not so much for your PLN, though I'm finding it where I put everything that I don't have within my web browser, and that is in OneNote. Now OneNote, I'm going to go back again, and I'm going to go into my Microsoft Office Home account. And OneNote is one of the many apps that you have available to you within your Office 365 account. At OneNote, we have a lot of what we've been talking about called Teams, and we're going to be spending a lot of time throughout the rest of the year talking about Teams, and we talked a little bit about that in the first half hour tonight if you joined us early with a couple of teachers, and how they can be used within your instruction in your classroom. We also did talk briefly about Sway, and then of course we spent some time in the previous weeks on forms and so on. But using OneNote is a excellent way, for you to get used to using it and all its features and benefits and so on. It's also a place where you can also manage instruction within Office 365 using your teams, and we'll talk about that in upcoming webinars. If you create a team, you can have a notebook, either a class notebook or a professional notebook within a team as well. But we're looking at OneNote. At the bottom of my screen, you see two little icons. The blue one, or purple one, is OneNote Online. There are two versions of this app. One is a desktop version of it. Just as you have a desktop version of Word, you have an online version of Word. Same for Excel, same for PowerPoint, and the same for OneNote. Everything you see when you go into your Office 365 account is for the online version of that app. Microsoft just this week announced that they're going to be doing away with the client version, the download version of pretty much all their products, but they mentioned OneNote specifically this week. But I'm going to look at both of them because they're slightly different. Microsoft is assuring their subscribers in the world that eventually there will be no difference between the online and the installed version of any of their programs. They're not there yet, but they're getting close to it, as before they actually get rid of and no longer support the down. They're not going to take it off your computer. It just won't be supported, and I suspect it won't be linked to the online version. Everything that you do in the installed version gets mirrored in the online version, and vice versa. There are a couple of editing features that you have to do in one to get in the other, but I don't want to get into that so much. This is my installed version of OneNote. If I go over here and click on OneNote here, as we've mentioned in previous webinars, if you're in the online version of whatever it is, those are all my notebooks, you are told in the top bar of the program that you're in the online version of it, okay? And again, I'll repeat, it's like a giant 3-ring binder with as many divisions in it as you could possibly ever want. I think it's infinite. I'm going to test that theory, I think, with what I've been putting up. And within each section, yeah, I'm close to infinite.
Yeah, I think
I'm about 2 or 3 away.
yeah.
Within these sections, you can also have an infinite number of pages. Just picture your 3-ring binder. If you got one of those 3 or 4 inch binders, you know how big that is. And then within that, you divided it up, and then you might have a whole wall of those binders, and so on. This is what's going on electronically. So what I've done is I've taken a number of things that I collect in my personal learning network, but my collection often is with the intent of sharing them out with people within the webinar or teachers and specific subject area teachers and so on. But this is my one, actually, oh, Gene, I digress. This is one of my many notebooks. These are all notebooks that I have either been shared, have shared with me, or have also. So we go from any number of notebooks, any number of sections, any number of pages, all for the price of admission, which is free. You get this. In fact, you don't even have, you can get a free OneNote account from Microsoft. You don't even have to be a school district employee, member, or pay for it. OneNote is available for free at large. The limitation is in the storage space that you have on your OneDrive, your cloud storage. But beyond that, they're all the same. So we're just going to look at a couple of things here. I've been messing around with something, and I'm going to see if it showed up here, Gene, in my binder. I'm going to have to go look over here. This is the installed version on my computer at home. Notice you'll see what looks to be like a photograph of a book index. Okay, you're not far off. Here is an index from the back of a book of something called a complete, the incomplete glossary of poetic terms. It's a book called The Ode Less Traveled, and it's about poetry and so on. Here's an index of the first lines from the complete collection of Emily Dickinson's poems.
Oh, God.
So on. Yes. Well, Raj, what's your point? I'm glad you asked, Gene. We're going to go back to this. And notice up here, let's go to, well, let's just go to this is the Poetry Handbook image. I'm going to back up just for a second or two, and I know what's on your mind. I can read minds. How did they get here? Raj, how did you get that page, that image in your OneNote? Well, I'll tell you, I used something called Office Lens. And Office Lens is an app on my iPhone. You can get it on any platform. You can get it on Android or whatever. It's a free app. And with that app, I can take an image of a photograph, of a document, of a whiteboard, of a business card, and I can take that image and send it to OneNote. And that's what I did here. And when I go to my OneNote, I did these a couple of pages at a time. Well, what's the beauty of that, you say? I heard you. I can, once I have it in OneNote, I can go into my Immersive Reader. And in the Immersive Reader, it can be read to me. So a student, notice this is It's wiped out everything that even indicate that that was an image. And I could, down here, this is a play button. I can choose a male or a female voice, and it can read the entire text. Now, we've done this before, several demonstrations, okay? So where am I going with this? In your classroom, the amount of material that you have within your textbooks, if you're a elementary teacher, you cover all the subject areas, most likely, and you have a number of textbooks. Those textbooks, if you look at the teacher's edition of them, are probably twice as thick as the one that you put in the students' hands. And I'm thinking of like the Journeys or whatever your reading program is or your social studies program is and so on. What we did was use this, and this came from a suggestion on one of a Twitter feed I was following. If I want to find a particular term, I have all these images because Gene, the really unique thing, or one of many unique features within OneNote, is that it is a built-in OCR, optical character recognition, is built into it. So if I want to search a very common poetic term, and I have scanned in all of these terms, or the index of the complete list of Emily Dickinson's poems, or the index or glossary of terms or vocabulary in my social studies book, or my new dictionary they throw in the back of some of these textbooks. But I don't have all those books open in front of me, and for some reason I may want to check on something very quickly. So within OneNote, with any image that you've scanned in and put into your OneNote, you can search it. So I'm searching for tomato, and you'll find that it is a very popular term. Did I go by it?
It was there, highlighted in blue.
Okay, I missed it.
Maybe try it again. Try the search again. It might take you to the.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Tomato. But it is a what? The problem here is, notice the different font here versus here. So I'm going to have to scroll because I know it's here. I think it's on, might be on 348. Oh, it's coming up because it's in the next poetic terms. You can quickly say you know the term you're looking for, you just don't have the right definition of it that you want to refer to, if it happens to be something of that nature. And it came up here, often contains tomatoes. This is not a poetic term, is it? Salad, tomato. You're going to find the person who, the author of this book, his name is Stephen Fry. Oh, yeah. And he threw these little, really kind of neat things throughout the book. If I could find it, it's kind of insane. He put in tomato in completely out of order. Yeah, here it is. I beg your pardon. It didn't come up because of the font. Tomato, and he put it in a list of all these poetic forms. It's a red savory fruit, sometimes known as a love apple, which has a place in many sauces and salads, but none whatever in a glossary of poetical terms, especially when it has not been inserted in the correct alphabetic order. Well, that alone made me buy this book when I came across it. But there are reasons, and I wanted to show you how this app works. It's Office Lens. We've talked about it, It's a free app on your available on your iPad, and you simply take an image. Now, I also used a feature on my iPhone. I don't know if you've done it, Gene. Screen recording.
Yes.
And you can record the step-by-step or any screen on your iPhone, and records it and saves it as a video in your photos collection on your phone. And then you can manipulate it, push it out. In fact, I've got a file here of one I was using on how to work with Twitter, and from my phone and so on. But this is a really interesting way. I thought I had a good idea. The teacher who brought this up or made this suggestion was, do this for tables of contents in books. So you don't have to have all these books open. You don't have to search the internet. You know it's something that you have in hand in your classroom or your collection of books at home or wherever, your reference books. Take a few minutes, and that's really all it takes, is a few minutes to snap the image of the text, put it into your, send it to your notebook. Because one of the options is to export it into OneNote, and within that, I'll go back here, I'll close that out. You can pinpoint it to exactly where you want to put it, in what, you can create a whole different page for that. And here's, again, the index of first lines. Now, Emily Dickinson, as a poetess, she only published, I think, 16 poems during her lifetime, but this volume is over 700 pages of her poems. They're very, short poems. She's famous for those, but they're all titled by the very first line of each and every poem. Well, they're impossible. Look at the range of pages. Well, if you want to find one, knowing how they're collected, you would know that. Quickly find out what page it's on by searching it. And you, again, search it here if you want. You go into the immersive reader and so on. Gene, have you used the Office Lens for much of this?
I have used the Office Lens, not as much, and I honestly myself did not know about the OCR capabilities that you've just described. And,
anything, yes,
and
anything in your notebook.
The only thing is I have not been looking at the screen because I have a definite hatred of Emily Dickinson, which was imposed on me by a college professor who made me read those things so many darn times. Anyhow. Oh,
that's a shame.
Oh,
that's a shame.
Poor Emily. Oh, God. I think he was in love with her. Oh, God. It's terrible.
How could he not?
Yes.
The Belle of Amherst.
Yeah.
We talked briefly, Gene, when you were doing your thing,
yes,
about YouTube.
Yes.
Worthy within YouTube is a new feature coming. The TED Talks are within a whole umbrella of the website TED.com.
Mm-hmm.
This is a new feature. And what's nice about using OneNote is I can embed video in OneNote. So if you're using, again, you want to do something with your students, within Teams, etc., you can push out a specific video to your Teams and collect them there. But you just throw it into Teams. This is, well, actually here, it's linkable here, and I embedded it here. But you can, this is just a teaser. And what TED is doing is collecting some talks by various teachers and putting them out there as resources. Now, I think one of the ones I came across recently, I don't know, this goes back a little bit, is Bill Gates and his foundation. This is a very short video, well worth your time to look at. Teachers need real feedback, and he talks about the whole landscape of evaluation, and teachers very often the response back is the teacher was satisfactory, and he makes a couple points about that. And really he makes some nice comments that are worth, but I started collecting them here. And of course I can share any of these pages from OneNote. I can share these to other teachers. So if we're working and collaborating as a group of 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade teachers, social studies teachers, and so on, you could be working with a PLC team and given responsibilities to collect resources on a specific topic or subject area, collect them and share them out here. This I put in as a link. I'm trying to find out. This is a terrific talk, all within this theme about teaching and inspiring kids and so on. So I created a section in my OneNote notebook. I just called it TED. These are all, you can change these, you can edit them, etc. These are recommendations. And the reason I was going back and forth, because one of these is the downloaded version, the other one is the online version, and I'm trying to get them in sync for doing this. But these are all of areas that I started collecting information for various subject areas, for ideas for later on. We've been talking about our worms, the early birds. This is a screen recording I took from my iPhone that I put up, and using it for Twitter. And this was showing how to use Twitter and how to send those resources up to your OneNote notebook. And so I don't know if this is going to open now. Yeah, that's going to open. I hope you can still see. You're obviously not going to see it, but this is using the screen recording.
We can see it.
Okay, good. So I did this very quickly. It's using the screen recording to show how I, for people I follow, if I find a tweet that I particularly like, and I think I find one here by way of example, I go to the link and then I can send that link directly into my account. Like here, this was an interesting audit here of how different digital skills are used. It's a nice little scattergram kind of thing. But I'm gonna end this here. I think all it does is show that. I don't think I go into how I get it up onto my OneNote, which is okay. But that's just a quick how to that. I took it with my iPhone, threw it up, and added it into my OneNote account on a page for different things I might want to catch up on and show or share and so on. But there's lots of reasons to use, again, incorporate your iPhone, use your OneNote, do this, that, all while standing in line at the bank. Or as I will be in the next week.
Yeah, but if you have that mask on, it's hard to see, Raj.
The what?
If you're in line at the bank with the mask on, it's hard to see.
Yeah, I have to pull it. I just keep it above my eyes.
Okay. I'm sorry. That was my way of saying we're almost to that time.
We are almost out of time. Again, over the coming weeks and months, we'll be delving into much more depth on, and specifically Microsoft Teams. I'm doing some work early November with kindergarten teachers. I think we're going to build a PLC team with using teams of kindergarten teachers as they are around the district, and they'll be collaborating and working on some things within that. So there's plenty of opportunity here. I just think, as Pete was saying, where do I find the time? Do I have an actual need for this? I think you'll have an actual use for it. The need, well, I think you'll have to come up with the need or the want for that. But here we are, Gene. We're at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, great. And we're glad everybody joined us. Thank you very, very much. We've enjoyed it. 1 hour from now, you'll get the survey as usual. Please open it up. I think also there is a link to the certificate if you want. Somebody sent me the certificate last week. It worked out beautifully. So if you want one of those nice things.
It seems like it did. I didn't hear any feedback on that.
But did
like,
you? Oh, if you didn't get a copy of it, I could send you a copy of what it looked
I
like.
got a copy of one that I don't know who got it, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
saw it.
Okay, good. And
But
with
yeah,
okay, and with that, then we'll say thank you. Good night. Have a great week. Hope to see you next week.
yes, and I won't be touching base
Oh,
next week.
yeah.
Possibly the following week.
Yeah.
We'll just see what time allows me to do. Okay.
Well,
I'll be thinking of you at the very least.
have a great trip, and we will
Okay.
see you when you get back. And next week, we're going to discuss, we'll take a little deeper look at Sway and some other good things. Good night.
That's great. Good night, everybody.